Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Disney Duo. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Katie.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining me again.
Yes, thank you for having me, sir.
Today we are doing something that is slightly opinion-based, but also a little more educational. We want to give back, we want to teach people things so they know just in case. Today we're going to talk about the roller coasters of Walt Disney World and how they rank insofar as the following: fear, nausea, and intensity. So Katie is here because she's an expert in these things, and this list is going to talk about I think it's like 7 or 8, I believe it's 8 roller coaster type attractions is what they usually call them over in Walt Disney World. And just in case, if you're kind of curious, if you want to go on these, or if you've got little ones who are interested to know kind of what you're getting into and where you could start, and then what's the top, like what's the most intense or craziest, right? So let's start at the very bottom. The easiest one you could go on, it's pretty simple. It's the tram tour from the parking lot. No, I'm just kidding. It's the Barnstormer. It's Goofy's Barnstormer.
Yeah.
Which has changed over the years because it used to go through an actual barn.
Yeah.
But pretty easygoing, wouldn't you say?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Its top speed, 25 miles per hour.
Really?
So it's cooking a little bit. A little cooking.
I didn't know that it
it's
goes
not
that
bad.
fast.
Yeah, so do you like Barnstormer? It's pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it's a cute ride. The seats are horribly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, it's tight in there. If there's 2 grown adults in that ride, it's rough.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're snug as a bug, but it's only
Yeah.
It's not a very long ride.
No, it's cute. Lots of people lose ears and stuff on that ride. We saw a lot. Just
Yes, hold on to those things. On any
Chillin'.
of these rides, perhaps take off your hats and glasses.
always.
Best remove them.
Best removal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll get to that one.
Okay.
But anyway, Barnstormer at the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Nausea rating,
Okay, we're doing these.
maybe like a 1.
Like a 1?
2.
Out of how
At
many?
max.
10?
Out of 10.
Okay, good. 1 or 2 out of 10, maybe. And we're not going to necessarily do...
Fear factor.
Oh, no, we're doing...
Oh, we're doing it.
Are we doing that? Oh,
We
gosh.
talked about it. Not really. Too scary.
Okay, yeah, no. That's not scary.
No.
And intensity all together?
Like a 1.
Okay, these are... It's got a 1s across the board. This is going to be fun to put together. Anyway, the next ride might actually surprise a few people that it's this like low on the list for being so new. And that is, and this we kind of came up with this list together, but this is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I tried to write all these down just so I would know, but this one goes top speed of 34 miles per hour. Now, as we go through these, there might be 1 or 2 on here that are actually a little bit lower miles per hour wise, or mileage per hour wise, up on the list, but there's different things. The intensity of them is shifted and changed by other aspects or elements. Yeah. But Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it's a pretty smooth ride.
Yeah,
you get 2 lift hills in it. And maybe we can bring that up too. In Barnstormer, there's only 1, but this one has 2 lift hills. One of the best lift hills. We just did a lift hills list, so go watch that after
really
this.
Good.
But it's very smooth. There's a lot of swaying side to side because of the mine carts, because they kind of do that.
Hate that aspect.
Kitty's like, it doesn't help with the nausea rating.
Not jiving with that.
But it's like a 2.5 minute or 2 minute and 6 seconds or something like that. It's not a super long roller coaster either. But anyway, how do you feel about it?
There's elements of fear, but it's not necessarily in regards to the roller coaster, but the witch herself. And seeing her at the end is intoxicating and also terrifying at the same time. Because I love her so much. There's so much love there.
I never thought in my whole life that we would get to a point to describe the old hag as intoxicating.
I really love witches!
She's not a witch, though.
But she is kind of!
Well, she's just like a queen who's like drinking potions.
But she is a witch!
I guess kind of. I don't know. She's weird. Anyway, you're right. The Wicked Queen, or the Quicked Ween, as they used to call it. Anyway, how would you rate this nausea, intensity, fear-wise?
I think if it's going to be nausea, it'd probably be like a 2 or a 3. Okay. Capping at 3. And that's because of the fact that it's, like you said, the swaying motion.
Yeah.
And then some of the drops, there's kind of like, they're not super long, so your body doesn't get that chance to just kind of get like that sinking feeling. It's just kind of like, whoa, good, I'm not feeling great. You know what I'm saying?
I think out of that second lift hill, I think
might
it's
be
there
two.
because one thing I love about the ride is at the beginning of the ride when you take off, you go down a little hill first before you hit the lift hill. But on that second lift hill, you do this. You go down a little bit and then down.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the more intense portions of the ride.
Yeah, no lie.
Yeah, okay. How
about you?
And then you said fear. Well, how about fear-wise? The fear is mostly because of the
witch.
The witch. So we're talking about like...
I mean, as far as the ride goes, you're not really going to be too scared. For like
Sure.
kids and stuff, it's probably like, I don't know, a 2 or a 3.
Okay. So intensity-wise?
It's
Like a 2?
probably a 2.
So 2 is across the board here?
Yeah, I would say 2 is accurate.
This is going to help me in the editing. So at the end, I'll be like, oh, I put all the little numbers up for people.
Yes, 2 across the board.
2 across the board. Anyway, we're moving on to the next one.
I see a pattern happening.
This
here.
one, again, this is going to surprise some people. And I think it's up for debate a little bit, because I think people are going to talk about this. We're talking about the wildest ride in the wilderness. We're talking about Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which has a top speed in Walt Disney World of roughly 36 miles per hour.
Really?
Now, this is going to confuse some people, because some people will say this one is more intense than the next one on our list. But the reason I put it here, or we put it here, I think, is it does have some intensity to it. There are 3 lift hills on this one.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. This is a longer attraction. But because of those lift hills, there's plenty of time to kind of, enjoy your surroundings. There's a little bit more of a break in it. It's not as intense all the way through,
Yeah.
There are some tight turns in it, and there is a pretty significant, dip down that if you're not ready for it. It can be it can catch you off guard. And depending on where you sit, if you sit in the very far back, it can be a much more intense experience.
That's true.
So that might put it over the top of this other roller coaster that's coming up next. But if you sit up in the front, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Or so I've been told. I always want to sit in the back. But
Yeah.
what would you say?
Yeah, exactly. You would be more intense the farther back you are, because I think you're trekking going down those hills. If you're in the front, it's like until you can get, over the hill, and then the rest of it kind of kicks it. So, I mean, I think, I don't know. Intensity, we'll just say a 3.
3.
Yeah. It's, I mean, like I said, intensity, it all goes to, what aspects of it you consider intense.
Sure.
You get a little bit of G-force going around those curves. Do not go unless you're with a friend or a close family member that you don't want to,
Yep, you'll be right into them.
Because it's just, you're cooking around those corners. So,
Mhm.
What else? Also, intensity will heighten if the bar is not super tight.
Yeah.
We're not recommending anything unsafe.
Don't do that. Okay.
Don't do that.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Okay.
How about nauseating?
I actually got pretty sick the last time I went on it.
Oh.
So I would say probably a 4. But if we're doing across the board, a 3, I guess, in comparison to other things that we're talking about.
And then finally, fear.
I think that there's some drops in there, the double one on that one. See what I'm saying? As far as your body having that, this one's a little bit deeper. So yeah, when you go down it twice, that's...
So you're talking
3.
So 3...
3 across the board.
3 across the board here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going up then.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a little more intense.
We're getting there.
Oh, trust me, we'll top out on this one. The next one is the one that I think is kind of up for debate with this one, which one's more intense. But this is Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah,
Slinky Dog Dash has, and I forget who said this, but they said it really well. It has a little bit more bite than bark on this one. Because it looks like it's a fun little roller coaster that everybody is going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do enjoy it. But it does seem like if the feel of it is that a child put it together. Because it has 2 little launches in it.
Yeah.
It has a section that does this, which that gets me. I'm like, please no. Also, one of the launches takes you right up and then down. I think it's a bit much.
That's
but
the worst.
the top speed on that one is 40 miles per hour. Pretty intense. So, well, what do you think about that? Because you went on that one.
What do you think about that? We waited in line.
Did we?
We
Did
waited
go
45 minutes on it. We went right in the morning. We still had to wait. I think we had to wait 45 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, because we waited I think. Or wait, maybe not for that one. I thought we did. Anyway, I digress. That
Keep
first,
talking. I have an idea. Keep talking.
You have an idea. So, the part that gets me... The part that gets me the most in that ride, like you had commented on, is when it goes up and then it goes down. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, like, we're still going down. And we're going really fast. And now the G-forces are kicking in. And I do not feel well.
Yep.
So that was pretty intense. And then, like you said, with the up and down motion, that also. And then you're like, oh, I'm just about done with this ride, but we're going to do another launch. So, like, now we're not done. So I think that there's aspects in there that make it more intense where they did the placement of certain aspects in the ride. Yeah. So, yeah. I would say intensity rating would probably be a 4. Nausea rating would be a 5 for sure. And fear factor, probably like a 4.
Okay, so like 4, 5, 4?
Yeah, so we'll just say 4 across the board.
Okay, 4. Averages out roughly to 4.
We'll just average it out to 4.
Yeah. And then obviously Wheezy at the end, 10 out of 10 for fear.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Watch it. Okay, he's like, yeah, 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, he's scary. Did you think I was gonna say he's nice? Wheezy's great. I love Wheezy.
Cute.
He's like, you got a friend in me, and it's like, Andy, why?
That's cute.
Anyway, that's Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah.
The next one, which a lot of people probably would think, he's just going to put at the top of his list because he just loves it so much. We're talking about my beloved, my dear, my sweet Space Mountain. Now, here's the thing about Space Mountain. Top speed, 28 miles per hour. That's lower than a lot of these other roller coasters we're talking about here today. It's only a few miles an hour faster at its top speed than Barnstormer. Mm-hmm. But the thing about this one, it's in the dark, really sharp turns and drops that you're not expecting necessarily unless you're a freak who knows it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here comes the big one.
Here comes the big one.
But its intensity goes up because of that across the board, and it feels like you're going much faster than 28 miles per hour.
Oh, 100%.
And it's one of the mountains. I think it's probably one of the more intense mountains out there. But yeah, so that's just kind of and I love Space Mountain. I've talked about it a lot. Why does it fall here for you?
This one's going to dramatically change from a 4. So this one's probably going to be like a 6 or 7. How many do we have left?
6 or 7 for what?
Across the board on everything.
Oh, so fear, intensity, and nausea.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
They like across the board, man. You get on there and you're thinking to yourself like, oh, this is cute. Like, look at this cute little thing I'm going to ride in. And then you start going up a hill and you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, jet into the past. And then you get up at the top of the hill and it's dark. And you're thinking to yourself, what have I done? And then you don't know where you're going. And I forget every time. I don't know where that big drop is, but that's sheer terror right there.
I love that one.
It's a good one.
It's great.
It's good. It's intense.
I love it. I love it.
You know, I like to tell people if they get nauseous on rides, just breathe. Just take some deep breaths. And I did that, and I still did get sick, but I didn't get as sick as I thought I was going to. So,
sure.
Yeah, I would say we'll counter at a 6, honestly.
6
instead
across
of a
the board?
7, yeah.
Okay, 6 across the board.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And this one it's pretty intense. It's kind of scary because it's in the dark, so if you have little kids who might want to get in there and they're the right requirement for it as far as height is concerned, just make sure they know that, because unlike these other ones we've talked about previously, this one is fully enclosed in a building. It's a long dark tunnel to get there. It's pretty intense as just like an atmosphere.
I would agree.
So keep that in mind too. Just make sure your kids are aware of it. Maybe you could show them a video of the kind of the queue line first, because you can't really show them a video of the ride because it's just dark screaming like ah. So just keep that in mind. But again, all these height requirements, I'm sorry I didn't put them down because it's like I think a Space Mountain's like 44. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But check those out before you go, just to make sure that your kids don't get crestfallen that they can't ride one of these rides. Yeah. But Space Mountain is a rite of passage. Really, honestly, it is. Mm-hmm. Next, now we're getting to it. Now we're talking about and this is where it gets a little confusing, because I think these last two could switch depending on who you are.
Oh, for sure.
Now, we're going to say this one that people are going to be like, how dare you, that should be at number 1.
Yeah.
But we will give reasons why.
Yes.
We're going to start with the fastest roller coaster on our list here today. We're talking about Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. Now, people, please don't tune out immediately. It's like, Jimmy, this is the fastest one. It's 0 to 60 in, 3 seconds or 2.8 seconds. Technically, I believe its max speed is 57 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. So, everybody, it's all right. But the launch is the most intense portion of it. That's what we're talking about. If you're unfamiliar, Rock and Roller Coaster, like Space Mountain, all enclosed inside a building, which is great. I love it. It's very, puts you in the actual scene.
Yeah.
But the launch is the most intense part. But the ride itself is really smooth. So once you get past that, you don't even know sometimes when you're upside down. It's got 3 different inversions. There's 2, I believe, loops and 1 corkscrew.
Yep.
But it moves really quick, really smooth, and its intensity is so high at the beginning, but the rest of it's just like a fun, not chill, but it's more relaxed than you think it'd be.
Don't you go straight from the launch into an inversion?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that moment right there is where you're going to feel like the most intensity. And I would say, I guess it would have to be, a 9 on the intensity scale. And
It's
then
high.
The fear factor is, it's still pretty high. I would
scary.
say an 8.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you're like, not sure what's going to happen. Even if you do know what happens and you've gone on it a bazillion times, you still are like, oh, I get to launch pretty soon. Like, this is pretty cool that I actually get to do this, and my body's going to be like, what's happening?
Yeah. And the countdown's different, it seems like. Or sometimes they have to wait, and you're sitting there for a minute, and it's just quiet, and you're just like...
And it's like, the music's just like really, in your ears blaring and stuff. That's so cool. And then I would say nausea rating. Honestly, the intensity of the beginning makes me not nauseous. It's the inversions and the corkscrew, I think, at the end, and it has to do everything with your body not like, I don't know. It's almost like elongated for me when I do those inversions. So, yeah.
So, what are we giving it across the board?
8.
An 8? As far as nausea, fear, and intensity are all brought together? We'll just average these out. This will make it easier for me.
Yes.
So it's an 8. But some people, I think, again, if the dark really scares you, if that launch really scares you when you see it, that might put it at the top of your personal list.
Yeah.
But like I said, again, if you're newer to roller coasters or if you're a kid who wants to get into it, this one is intense at the beginning, but the rest of it is just like a fun ride. Like Aerosmith's just like singing and you're having a good time. You don't really know what's happening, and it's not as physically demanding, it seems like.
Yeah, agreed.
In some ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There you go. Also, between this ride and the next ride, a shout out to our friends Provost Park Pass, who did a secrets reveal video. Hi guys, we love them so much. Please go check out Provost Park Pass. They're
so
amazing.
good.
Subscribe to them immediately because you won't regret it. You'll see them for like 3 seconds and you'll be like, I love these people. But on Rock and Roller Coaster and our next ride here, they talked about as well. That is Expedition Everest: Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. Let me make this clear right now, everybody. This frustrates me. The ride itself is not on Everest. A lot of people think it is, but it's not. Everest is in the back. It's in the back. The big mountain you see is not. That's the Forbidden Mountain. I just want to get that out there because everybody's like, I love Everest, and they look at it like, that's not Everest. Like, please. Anyway, so why is this ride the most intense, scariest, and the most nausea-inducing for us? Again, this is. We polled 2 people, and this is what happened.
We polled just us, and this is our thoughts.
This ride has a lot of intense things going on. So
almost took a big gulp when you said that.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Gotta get my composure.
It's like, just give me a case of the vapors. I wish I had a little fan. I'd be like a little Everest fan. And that's not to say I don't like this ride. I do. But if you are afraid of heights, if you are afraid of the dark, if you are afraid of a large monster in a strobe light, like, those are all things that are pretty high up there on fears for me. But in all seriousness, this ride it's really cool, and it is very story-driven and interesting. And it has a top speed when you get to the bottom of that hill, I believe, at, 50 miles per hour.
Wow.
So again, not as fast as the beginning of a Rock and Roller Coaster, and also not as fast as Test Track, but which isn't on this list because it's technically not a roller coaster. But Expedition Everest, between all of that stuff with the heights and going up there, and then I really think the part that gets both of us and a lot of people is the backwards section.
Woo, girl!
It is a lot. And if you're not... I think the part for me is it's not only backwards, but then it kind of goes up and backwards. And my body is like, not on a roller coaster. It's like, we just got used to going down and forward, up and backward.
Yeah, that's intense.
It makes me really nervous about Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Because they say they have a reverse launch in there, and I'm like, I hope it's like midway through the ride. Like,
no, it'll probably be... Ooh, anyway.
Anyway, so...
Yeah, you just named it.
There you go.
Really, honestly. It's, that going backwards, there's something different about that.
Yeah.
Being like, you're almost kind of like, you're sunk in, I don't know how it works with the forces, but just like, you're going in a weird way and your body's like, what? I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No.
But anyway, so what would you give it across the board for rating? As far as intensity? Nausea, fear? Is this a 10?
Yeah, I mean, on property, yeah. I'm sure that there's things that are scarier. For sure. But like, yeah.
We're just sticking to Walt Disney World. So 10.
Yeah, 10.
And again, this is our personal rating system. If you have a different rating down below, please leave it. I would love to hear what you guys think. If you guys are like, you guys are nuts. This one, like, Rocket's way more intense. Or like, Barnstormer's the most intense. Like, you can almost lose a hand on it.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we want to know what your ratings are down below. And I hope you guys have, had fun with this one. Please send in other ideas, because we appreciate that so much. Mm-hmm. Please, please, please. We have a TikTok, an Instagram, a Facebook, Twitter, and we also have Patreon. So thank you. This show is brought to you by our patrons. So thank you, patrons. If you want to support us, consider checking that out for as little as $1 a month. That'd be great. Or we have Spreadshirt. We can do that too. Anyway, but thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and talking about this.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Bye.